Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back with our friend, our newlywed and coach and yoga healer, everything, you name it. Michelle Dellene, all in one package. That's Michelle with 2 L's and Dellene with 2 L's. And welcome back from the honeymoon.
Oh, thank you, Jill. It's so great to be back. How are you?
I'm doing well. You look like you're glowing. You've been on a high for what, 2 weeks now? Has it been 2 weeks?
Yeah, crazy. It has. It feels like it's been a little bit longer and shorter all at the same time. Just kind of like traveling does that to you, like messes like the whole perception of time up. But I'm just so happy to be home.
Well, good. Welcome back. Would you mind saying hello? Introduce yourself to those who may not know the beauty, the fascinating, the amazing Michelle Dellene.
Thank you for that lovely introduction.
You're welcome.
So yes, I'm Michelle Dellene. I'm a yoga healer. And what does that mean? I bridge together the beauty and magic of Eastern and Western medicine. And I tie that in with yoga philosophy, with aerial silks and nutrition optimization to bring you healing.
Beautiful. And you've been doing a fantastic job. We know your whole background, your history, your story, but those who don't know, you just got married 2 weeks ago. You're a mom as well, a physician assistant. There's so much to you. And what do we have in store for today? How do you want to enlighten our listeners? What's up next?
Yeah. So if you're going through anything like I am, all of our family is kind of like gathering together and we're traveling. Our entire schedule is so different than what we're used to in routine. And so I want to bring some balance back into our lives. And we can do this by a pranayama or a breath exercise. So you ready to learn something new?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is called Nadi Shodhana. It's called a pranayama practice, which actually translates in Sanskrit to prana, meaning life force or breath.
Okay.
And yama is restraint or a physical practice. So that's the definition of pranayama. And nadi shodhana, which is the specific type of pranayama, nadi correlates to an energy channel. And shodhana is bringing in the alternate breath. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is what it looks like. I'll show you first. You'll put your 2 fingers right here on your third eye, and then you'll kind of put your thumb on one nostril, and we'll take a deep inhale through the open nostril.
Okay.
And then once you're inhaling all the way up to your third eye, you go ahead and squeeze the other nostril by opening.
On the other side.
And you'll exhale out. And then you'll go ahead and inhale from this nostril that's open and exhale through the other side. So really simple. Let's do that 3 times. So I'll cue you by inhaling left, exhaling right, inhaling right, exhaling left.
Perfect.
And so when you're doing this breath, try to follow it with your mind's eye and create a triangle.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Deep inhale through the left nostril, bring it up into your third eye. And switch your hands. Exhale through the right nostril. Good. Inhale through the right side. Up to your third eye. And switch your hands. Exhale through the left side. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. And last time, deepest breath all day. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. And how do you feel?
I'm honestly, I'm not used to holding breath that long. So you're going quick, longer than me. I'm trying to hold my breath. I feel nervous because I've never really paid attention to my breath as much, but I got to learn to take a deeper inhale, hold it, let it go. But that's
And
interesting. You can actually, it's like, I've never in my life even thought about the air going up and coming down. And
hmm, that's really interesting that you say you feel nervous. It kind of feels like someone's sitting on your chest, right? Like you're almost being suffocated because you want to breathe faster.
yes, but it feels good. And I feel like
Yeah,
I'm a little stuffed now, but I'm getting things flowing, which is a good thing, I guess, because that's what you want to clear this cavity out.
exactly, exactly. If we practice this the way that we just did for 90 days, they say your brain will finally be able to operate in equilibrium. So it balances both hemispheres, the right and the left
Okay.
side. Yeah. And so the left nostril controls our parasympathetic nervous system, the ability to rest and relax, to breathe very, very slow, to decrease our heart rate and to decrease our respiratory rate and to optimize our health. Right. And the right side is the more masculine side. It is the side where, like, oh, I have a podcast at 9:30, time to go. Or, grab your bags and run.
Yeah. Hmm.
Flight is about to take off.
Yeah.
So anywhere you are, whether it's right before a podcast or a meeting or a flight, there's simple breath practice you can take with you anywhere. And just even if you're in the middle of the airport, just sit down and practice the Snadi Shodhana to welcome in balance.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. All right.
You're
Good.
welcome. You're welcome. So very cool. But yeah, when you first practice this pranayama in the beginning, like I did too, I was like, oh my God, am I doing it right? I feel like I can't breathe. And like all of that, that comes up, we call that chitta in yoga. That's your like lower self kind of trying to like limit you. It's being burnt away by the breath. They say that the breath is spirit, right? So as you bring it in, you're actually destroying that like lower self, all the negative energy. And so you're doing it perfectly right. And that's very natural the way that you experienced it. So good job.
Thank you. Now, how often should we be doing that? For how long? What's the technique behind it all?
Yeah. So for a beginner, I would do 3 cycles just as we did, and we do
Okay.
daily. And they really recommend that you do it for about 90 days to appreciate a difference. But whenever you're feeling out of balance and you just
Hmm.
need something, then I recommend practicing it then.
Thank you. What other
Yeah.
breath work do we have in store for us? Or
Ooh, yes. Okay. So my favorite is Kapalabhati. It's breath of fire. And we've practiced that a few times, kind of like tucking your navel in and like blowing out really, really
yeah,
fast.
I could see you do. I could envision. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we do that, I'll break it down for you just so you can kind of understand a bit more physiologically. So instead of just exhaling through our nose, you can kind of appreciate the subtle facial muscle movement that's happening in my mandible here and in my oropharynx is that we'll start from the beginning. Like if you're holding a mirror up and you're attempting to fog it with your breath, you go, right? And you can feel that restriction in the back of your throat. Very different than if you just blow on a mirror. You want to try and fog it, right? So you go,
Yeah.
yeah. So while you're maintaining that type of expiration through the gentle restriction of the muscles of the oropharynx in the back of the mouth and in the most superior aspect of the throat, you're then closing your mouth and you're exhaling forcefully through your nose. So it's kind of
Okay.
like patting on your head.
And doing the same thing at the same time. Yes.
It definitely comes easier with practice. So if you keep your mouth closed and you exhale forcefully through your nose by maintaining that restriction in the back of the oropharynx, it looks like this.
Wow.
So you'll kind of see all the different muscles
Kind of
moving.
moving.
Yeah.
Muscles that I never knew I had, let alone that I could physically move by myself manually like that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting once you pay close attention and you're aware of these things. It's surprising, like that I didn't even know that I had that, right? And
Yeah.
then you could really concentrate and you can fine tune your practice, and that's when it becomes easier.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the cool thing about Kapalabhati is, although very challenging in the beginning, with time and practice, it strengthens your core. So if you're trying to get rid of, that turkey bulge after overeating this holiday season, you can actually engage the rectus sheath and the transverse abdominis, as well as the external obliques, while pulling in your belly button into your spine upon every exhalation. And you'll notice when you're able to perform this at a very rapid rate, your body starts to tingle. You'll feel much lighter, and that's when physiologically your pH is changing. So you're blowing off carbon dioxide, and you're actually bringing in a more alkalized or a higher pH, which is healing in itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All these things are like, how did you, you're just so clearly you're smart girl. You did a lot of schooling, a lot of training, but now to going further, because I know you do the Western and the Eastern medicine in a sense. How did your husband inspire you to learn this? So this is fairly new in a sense. Well, quite a few years compared to all the other years of schooling.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. And what's cool, Jill, is like this has been around for 5,000 years. And
Hmm.
as I went through my own healing process, I was like, why isn't this taught in medical school?
Why hasn't anyone, yeah, taught me this? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I'm like, well, no one's doing it, and it obviously works, and it makes like
So
incredible sense. So I'll do it.
so here you are. Good. All right. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, it's definitely it didn't come easy to me being someone who is like a go-getter and just so used to being able to measure success objectively. Like, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get straight A's and I'm going to graduate and I'm going to make this amount of money, right? To now switching to more of a yoga philosophy of I am exactly where I need to be, although it doesn't sure feel like it. And I'll wake up and, at one point in time, I was so terribly ill. I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, am I going to die? Like,
Oh,
not being dramatic, just being real. And, my yoga teachers and my coaches at the time said, do the eye to eye contact, look at yourself and say, I am healed. And,
yeah.
I used to cry after that because it was really hard to believe that I could even heal myself. But through the power of repetition and practice and manifestation, you really can bring in that reality that you seek to become true. And so after I did heal and after I did all those things, and I recognized that I have never felt so good in my entire life, I was just destined to share it with everyone. So that's why I'm here.
Wonderful. Yay. Well, I love that you're here teaching us. And you got an email?
Yeah, I'm turning on my do not disturb now.
It's
Sorry about
fine. It
that.
happens. My phone sometimes is left on and I'm like, oops. So I get
Yeah.
it.
Oh, so I'm just finishing up an executive leadership conference because I am keeping my certification and my licensure as a physician assistant. I,
Hmm.
I think it's really important to be able to connect with healthcare providers and to maintain my education. So one of the things I was actually just listening to a conference, and that was actually the email about my certificate.
Great.
But there's something really cool that when I was learning, I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell Jill. So I'll share it with you.
Sure.
So there is this really cool acronym, empathy, EMPHTHY, that you can use while you're communicating with people, verbally and non-verbally, in order to optimize your connection and to build the strength in the relationship. So E is for eye contact, right? Wherever you are. And you're so good at that, Jill. How do you do that all day?
Because I mean, I am so big. Me and my father. Okay, let me tell you, sir. My father, he lives out on Long Island where I live, and he's always had this saying about eye contact. As a kid, he said he'd always stand outside the house. He's like the mayor of the neighborhood. The people that walk by that don't make eye contact, he makes it a point to point out, like, hello, good morning, good morning, until he establishes eye contact. He says the next time they come around, they'll make the eye contact. The ones who don't, he says there's something either wrong with them or they're really that scared. So he'll try it again. He gives them 3 tries. And the ones that eventually don't make eye contact, he just says, I can't say what he says. He says like a middle finger thing. Then he thinks they're not good people. He thinks sometimes people are just nervous because not people, but he likes trying to get people to make eye contact with him as well. He thinks it's important for communication as well. So do I, because you could see through the soul of someone that way. So I learned at a young age, that and the middle finger, my dad with the neighbor. So he's a little extreme, but he's like, all right, now they're not being nice.
Oh my God, I love it. It's so true on so many levels. And my dad is so similar to yours in the sense that, we grew up on Long Island and he talks to everybody, anybody that walks by. He's just like, I love him to death. He is such a powerful communicator, and he's always.
And like, where is he now?
Here in Claremont, Florida.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you were saying too, you can like see into someone's soul through their eyes. They actually say the eyes are like the window to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. And another thing that reminded me of my dad is like, he's like, do you know what this is? It's like a bouquet of, and then he puts up his middle finger.
I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
So E for eye contact. Sorry, I digress, but go ahead.
No worries. So how do you maintain eye contact on Zoom? Because like my camera's up here.
It's hard. Well, I usually just look at you here, but then every now and then you're checking yourself too, because you want to check your hair. You want to see if you look good. Then you have to understand, I apologize. I'm also looking at an audio board. I'm looking at the phone lines. So I'm a little like this, but it's hard not to look at yourself when you're on a Zoom call. Sometimes you have to. And then sometimes I look at my hair, but I feel like I'm looking at you when I look at you. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're professional. I need to take some tips from you. Thank you for that. Okay, so that's for E. E is eye contact for empathy. M is muscles of facial expression. So are there muscles of their facial expression actually in line with what they're saying and, the type of tone that they're using while they're communicating, just paying attention to the special cues. Like, are they smiling and happy, or, are they furrowing their brow? So paying kind of closer attention to the muscles of the face and ossification can kind of help tune in and connect when you're trying to communicate or establish rapport.
Okay.
And then posture, right? So we're like
slumping.
Tuck your navel into your spine, right? Shoulder back, open up your heart. Or are they like, oh my gosh, I'm still ready for this to be done, And then
body language.
Yes, is everything. I feel like that's almost more telling than someone's words, depending on the person, of course. But I feel like I learn a lot from someone's body language. Yeah. And affect. So what do they look like? Are they just stoic and like dazed in a different place, or are they just like elaborate and enthusiastic and just, like very Italian?
Yes. By the way, I'm sniffling. I have to, since I've been touching my nose, I feel like I had a sneeze this whole time. That's why my eyes look watery. I'm not crying, but because we did that.
Let it out. Get a tissue.
There's a paper towel over here.
Go get it. Yes. The last thing you want to do is let in. Let everything flow. Get it out.
It's just letting you know I'm going to sneeze soon. I can feel it. So don't think I'm crying over you. I think you're beautiful. You're a beautiful bride. You can tell my facial expression. I'm happy to talk to you, but my eyes are teary because of that.
So genuine, you can tell. Oh, and have you ever heard like the saying that when someone sneezes, it's confirmation? Yeah. So I don't know when you will sneeze, but when it happens, I'm very interested to know what it's confirmation for. Oh, okay. And then so we got EMPA, So the next one is T, which is tone of voice. So listening, that one is a big one for me. Is does that
Tone.
ever I feel like tone is everything when I communicate with someone.
Tone. Yeah. There's some loud people that I work with that I know of that are just loud, but it's a
Yeah.
little, whoa,
Oh
you're
yeah,
very
I
soft
agree.
spoken. I love you.
Oh,
Calm,
thank you.
calm. I get calm from you and I get security and I get trustworthy, just from your tone of voice.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's
You're
sweet.
welcome. It's you. It's genuine.
Yeah. I think that's really imperative too. It's essential when connecting with clients, and especially when they're just vulnerable and they're in need of healing, they need that kind of tone. If
Mm-hmm.
you're overbearing or a bit too harsh, I mean, I just take it personally because for me, I'm a sensitive person, and that just kind of scares me away and tightens me up. That's the last thing you want when you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to establish a good relationship. So, do you still
Good.
feel like you have to sneeze?
No, I'm waiting. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. You look so much more calm. I think the Nadi Shodana that we were doing kind of like stirred up.
It did.
It's working. How cool is that?
But I was also like, oh my gosh, my nose is going to run. I'm going to sneeze. Then you get self conscious, like, oh my gosh. So thank you for making me feel comfortable.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. And not to worry, with like all the Zoom and the what do they do? You press this little button and it like touches up your appearance. Like it will just look like you're like listening,
Yes.
right?
Oh, and I know I don't have that yet. Hmm.
Oh, well, you don't need
I have the
it.
basics soon. Thank you for telling me. I'm going to Google that later.
Yeah. I think actually before you get into a meeting, if you click on like test computer audio and if you go down to video, there's a
Like a
little check.
filter,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
take out
Mm-hmm.
the flaws. All right, good.
Yes. Like you're airbrushed.
Do you
Yes.
have a filter on now?
I clicked touch up my appearance. Yes, I did.
You look
Mhm.
great. Well, I
Look
didn't
at-
know that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, so H and Y. H is hearing the whole patient.
Hmm.
And I love this one because in surgery, there was this cute little cartoon like on the vision board one day in the OR, and it said, treat the whole patient like WHOLE, not just the whole HOLE in the patient. I
Yeah,
thought it was super cute.
that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But as allopathic providers, we're trained in symptomatology, like really breaking down the chief complaint and addressing the symptom, whether it's through a lifestyle modification or, prescribing a pharmacotherapy or potentially operating, things like that. But where Eastern medicine really comes into play here, and I think really shines, is getting to the root of the problem. So, like working through what is it that is creating this symptom,
Hmm.
instead of just like putting a band-aid on, like actually like addressing the wound, like cleaning it and debriding it and irrigating it, and then bringing closure, when it's healthy enough and
Hmm.
ready to. So, that one really struck a chord with me. And lastly is your response, right? So when you're communicating, you're doing all those things, you're making eye contact, you're looking at the muscles of facial expression, you're seeing, really observing their posture and noticing their affect, tone of voice, and hearing the whole patient, but then putting it all together and being able to provide a response that is thoughtful, that is filled with empathy, and that offers curiosity or interest or maybe a different point of view.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that is
Beautiful.
how to involve empathy in your communication skills in order to establish good rapport with your clients or your patients or maybe your husband or your children.
Yeah, you can use it everyday life. It's not just in the office. Empathy. People always say that word. Well, I don't understand. Can't empathize. I've lost my mother. I can empathize. It's like, yeah, you kind of sometimes have to go through it to really experience it, for
Right.
sure. But
Yeah.
there's also people like yourself that are so really in touch where you really can empathize, even though you haven't been in that experience. Hence, this is what you do for a living. But a lot of us need that experience to learn how to empathize. If we only could, be wise beyond our years, right? If I knew now what I knew then, in general, it's just, I think we need to start coaching our youth, but I'm going off topic here. But really, like the youngins of the world need to learn all of this. It's so important to establish this at a young age. Right? Your clients, I mean, you work with mostly adults, I'm assuming, but
yeah. But I take the practice home with me and I apply it everywhere.
Well, your daughter, you have a little girl.
Yeah. And she's going to be 4 on Saturday.
Yay. What are you doing for her birthday?
We're going to have not a big party, but it will be the perfect size party here, like around the pool. You got all the decorations. I got her big princess cake and she's just so sweet. And it was so incredibly amazing just to come home to this like precious child after honeymooning for like 11 days. I missed her so much.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you're teaching her at a young age about empathy, about kindness, about love, about eye contact, about all these things, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And one of the cool things being a mother, and I've done a bit of research about this as well because I had quite a time with it in the beginning. It was incredibly challenging for some reason, which is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. We mean parenthood in general?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And this book I was reading stated that their reflection, a child's behavior is a reflection of your emotion. And so whenever, she would start to act any sort of way than, what I thought was appropriate, I always question myself, like, how am I feeling? Like,
oh my, yeah.
And I'm like, well, I feel fine. Well, that's what your conscious mind is aware of. Mm-hmm. I'm like, so it just allows you to kind of move deeper. And I use this acronym RAIN to recognize, allow, investigate, and then non-attach to your feelings and emotions. So you can kind of like move through them. And when they come up again, you can better understand them and navigate in a much more healthy way.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. So we learned a lot today, empathy, RAIN, and we unfortunately are out of time. We have a minute left. What else do you want to share, Michelle? My goodness.
Well, I want to share gratitude. It is a season to be grateful. And I'm just so thankful for this opportunity and everything, Jill. It's such a pleasure working with you. Thank you.
Oh, same here, really. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you enjoy the holiday and be thankful and grateful for all you have, all of us out here, and continue your positivity. And really, it shines, it emanates, and it'll make someone's day. So I'm grateful to know you, and thank you for being here. Michelle, how can we reach out to you if our listeners have any questions, want to work with you?
You can go to my website, michelledellene.com. That's MICHELLEDELLENE.com, and check out my Instagram. It's the same handle, Michelle Dellene. I'm always posting fun stuff. You can message me there.
Thank you, sweetheart. Have a great day. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.